We have lots of times where we pick on PlayStation because PlayStation's been doing a lot of really stupid things lately and been very anti-consumer in a lot of areas. But um, now we have something to make fun of with Microsoft because, well, I wouldn't say this is necessarily entirely anti-consumer. It is stupid, and that is that 343 Studios, which has been responsible for all the Halo games since Halo 4, has renamed their studio to Halo Studios. And they're they have multiple Halo projects in the works, all of which are going to be an Unreal Engine 5. What are your thoughts?
All right. So first off, why the rebranding? That doesn't make sense to me. Now I've heard that they have hired new people, but at the same time, I do not feel that warrants any sort of rebranding. I mean, they could say, well, it's to help remove some of the bad tastes that gamers have had, which I feel like isn't completely unwarranted considering the fact that the Master Chief Collection on PC at launch was bad,
Yep.
and it took time for them to fix that. Considering the fact that Halo 5 with its story, people weren't too fond of, and considering some of the, I guess, gameplay elements, I guess possibly with the multiplayer primarily, because I think that the people in general enjoyed the campaign, but some of the multiplayer aspects of Infinite people didn't care for. At least at launch, people didn't care for. So there's that there as well. I don't think rebranding your name is going to really do too much, but also I really feel like people know 343. Like they understand what it's about. And sure, Halo is the name of the series, but why change it from something that people are familiar with and, something that already was Halo related because the company name was named after 343 Guilty Spark to begin with. So it's not like you had something that was unrelated to Halo and then something that's more related to Halo. It's just one Halo thing to another Halo thing. And I mean, personally, also, the logo font doesn't really look all that great to me, but
Yeah.
that's just my personal taste there. So it really doesn't make sense to me. But I feel like the biggest sin here is switching to Unreal Engine 5. Like, this is a very unoptimized engine. It's so demanding, so buggy. Why are you switching over to this? I feel like even if they were having difficulties, I think that the Slipstream engine would have been so much better to use than Unreal Engine 5. I mean, it's going to cause so much problems down the road that I just don't know how to begin. And sure, it looked nice. I guess the demo that they presented, it looks nice, but it's just a demo. It's not actually, for one thing, running on actual hardware that people are going to be using, and the performance is not going to be that great. So I do not think that having these prettier graphics I don't think that's going to balance out the fact that there will be performance issues in the game itself. So I totally disagree with this to begin with. The fact that every game going forward is going to be using UE5 is just a nightmare to me, and I do not look forward to that. But I'm also very skeptical about the future of Halo, just because I can't remember what the exact position title it is, but it's high enough. I don't remember if it's like director. I don't remember if it's like some sort of producer role. I don't remember what it is, but there's someone new who's assuming an authoritative role over Halo, and sure, I could be proven wrong, but based on what I've seen on her and what she's about, it leaves me very skeptical about the direction that future Halo games could take. So I'm just like very skeptical of that. And so like not only on the performance side of things because of Unreal Engine 5, but the story side of things too. I'm just like, oh, this is not. It really makes me just say, let's just pull the plug on Halo and just let it die off. That's just how I feel there. But in some, I'm very skeptical and I'm not too fond of these changes.
Yeah, so I definitely will have to say, first of all, I'm not even going to get into the person who's involved with Halo now. Like, it's certainly not encouraging that you're making that important at all. And I'm not talking about you personally. I'm saying that that Halo Studios is making that important. I think that that's very disconcerting. But as much as that's something that bothers me, what bothers me more, at least right now, until we get like some real confirmation of what they might be doing in terms of, changing things up to go more with that type of weird modern audience garbage. It's this Unreal Engine 5 stuff. I mean, of course, I definitely don't like the rebranding of the studio. I think that's stupid. It's stupid. It's completely pointless and unnecessary. I mean, if they were going to rename it to Halo Studios, at the very least, they could just use the Halo logo, the already existing logo. Then at least it would look better. But, whatever. I mean, like, in general, I don't think it's a bad logo. I just think that when you have this iconic logo related to this iconic series that has existed for over 20 years, it would make sense to just use that logo. But whatever. Anyway, completely aside from that, it is the fact that they are wanting to do all these games in Unreal Engine 5, which, as you said, is an unoptimized garbage engine at the moment. Now, in the future, hardware will eventually catch up. But by that point, we'll probably be in Unreal Engine 6. And then we'll have another issue with it. It's like, Unreal Engine 5 is just making games run so poorly. I wish that they had just stuck with Unreal Engine 4, because Unreal Engine 4 still, developers pushed it to make some great looking games. Impressive stuff, and still able to get great performance out of it. Look at Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's a great example. And Rebirth for that matter. Both Unreal Engine 4 games. At least I'm pretty sure Rebirth is still Unreal Engine 4. Incredible looking games. And granted, Rebirth at least has issues on the PS5, the base PS5, because it's just not super powerful. But like Remake, when they brought that over to PS5, they were able to give it a 60 frames per second mode, and it still looks amazing. And Unreal Engine 5 is just a garbage engine, and I think the problem is that they just think, oh, well, the reason why people don't like Halo is because of the visuals, because they're not good enough with this current engine we've been using. And it's like, no, that has nothing to do with it. Yes, of course, you'll have the PlayStation fanboys in particular, zooming in and enhancing on the blurriest portion of one of the textures or whatever. Or, you had the whole Craig meme from the original reveal of Halo Infinite. And, some of those criticisms were valid, but the reality is that the game, Infinite, isn't a bad-looking game in general. It's not, on the same level necessarily as the ultra-realistic PlayStation games, but it also runs better, and it's just a different type of game. This change is unnecessary, it's detrimental, it's only going to do bad things for the Halo franchise, which, as it stands, I agree with you. I think Halo's just at a point where it probably needs to die. And I will fully disclose, I have not played through any of the Halo games except the very first one. And I enjoy the first one. I have the Master Chief Collection. The only reason that I haven't played through more of the games is really just because of the fact that I wanted to replay Halo 1 before I dive into 2, 3, ODST, and 4. Or not. Is it ODST, Reach? I can't remember how all the thing is. I still want to play the other Halo games. I just haven't gotten around to it, even though they do run exceedingly well on the Steam Deck. Fantastic. They run beautifully on Steam Deck. But yeah, it's just, this is not going to be beneficial to Halo, and I think that this is a big mistake on their part, trying to do this, trying to make Unreal Engine 5 a focus when it so far has just been terrible for games. It has done nothing positive for the games other than making them look prettier. But even the games that look prettier run way worse. And in some cases, they're not even coming close to having as good of visuals as they could have on Unreal Engine 4, and yet they're only reaching 30 frames per second. And then they're having to use upscalers and everything, and just unbelievably blurry games in order to make it actually able to hit 60 frames per second, and even then, it's not always maintaining 60 frames. I don't understand what Microsoft is doing with this, and I mean, I guess it's not impossible that they could completely turn everything around, even with this modern audience garbage that they're potentially doing with it. But I will say one thing for sure. If they're going to insert the modern garbage into their game, I will definitely never support it. And as it stands right now, the only reason I haven't bought Halo Infinite is really just because of the fact that I still haven't played through all the other Halo games I have. And eventually, when I get to a point that I played through all the games I already have, I will probably pick up Infinite, because I'm only going to be playing the single player anyway. I'm not interested in the multiplayer. So, but I'm not at that point because I still have basically all of the games to play. And I won't even have the option to ever play 5, even if, I only halfway want to, just because I'm a completionist, and not so much because of the fact that, knowing what they do, at least some of what they do with the story and what they did with Cortana and all that other stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got.
Nothing else from me.
All right, sounds good.